thank you for coming, members of the press. We're ready when you are. And the councillors, we just thought that we needed to hold this address, which will also work as our New Year's address, but will also be able to give us an opportunity to respond to what is happening. As you can see, this is a working council. We have not shut down for the holidays. Because of the various issues that we have to deal with within the city. Is the feedback okay? Huh?
It is okay.
Right, okay. So I'll begin with the salutations. Merry Christmas to everyone. We hope for a happy new year. Ndakaona kuti pane vamwe vakangoriska ne $5 yanga yasara mupocket. So I hope pa new year mchakwanisa kuriska futishe neimwe inenge yasara. But I want to thank you for coming. We'll make this brief since we are in the middle of the holiday. The deputy mayor, the town clerk, councillors, chairpersons of committees, the chamber secretary, the rest of the staff, and the members of the public, community organizations, and everyone who has taken the time to come today. We will address from a prepared speech, but we will be able to have an interaction to lay the marker as to what we want to do for the upcoming year, that is 2024. I'm deeply humbled to present this New Year's message on behalf of the city of Harare and in my capacity as the mayor of the capital city of the Republic of Zimbabwe. I was re-elected the mayor of the capital city on the 21st of December 2023, and I would like to pay tribute to my predecessors for holding fort, ensuring that the city remains afloat. Council has had many challenges relating to service delivery, such as serious waste management crisis, water shortages, recurrent cholera outbreaks, non-functional ERP, and the reality of infrastructure that has suffered over a 20-year backlog of renewal and instability caused by developments in the political domain in our country. In spite of all these challenges, we have placed hope, growth, and progress as the forefront of our agenda. Saving the citizens remained a profound responsibility that we carry, and such we are not embarrassed to talk about our shortfalls. We are also proud to discuss our achievements accomplished in a difficult environment. In all these situations, we choose optimism. We believe that the problems can be solved and that Harare must be functional, hence the mantra, accelerating quality service delivery for everyone. Transformation. For us to be able to accelerate quality service delivery for everyone, we need to change the way we do business. We need to reshape our notions of transformation as change that manifests itself as a collective effort that specifically addresses the structural barriers to profound social change. We are very good at planning, and we have a 5-year strategic plan. We also review performance and develop annual plans every year. From the trend analysis, our performance is on a downward trajectory, and this situation requires us to relook at the way we do business and initiate our change management programs. The change management and transformation initiatives are focusing on the following key components: people, processes, and technology, clear vision and goals, a culture of trust and collaboration, involvement of both leadership and employees, a clear communication strategy, a governing structure to oversee and manage the transformation initiative. We have already begun the transformation project in 2023, and we intend to continue with this trajectory with this project until we enhance service delivery and operational efficiency. Recapitalization. For us, accelerating quality service delivery for everyone means that the assets to deliver these services must be available. This means that the recapitalization of service delivery operations must be given top priority. In the 2024 budget, we have provided for the procurement of plant and equipment to enhance service delivery. The following pieces of plant and equipment will be procured in the 2024 financial year. We will procure 5 30-ton hook loader and 5 bins for waste collection at high traffic areas. These are big bins, lest someone thinks we want to collect, to procure 5 little bins. 15 refuse compactors, 10 ambulances, service delivery vehicles, excavators, front-end loaders, tipper trucks, skid steers, backhoe loaders, graders, and water bowsers. Linked to the recapitalization drive is the decentralization agenda. Harare has grown to the extent that it cannot be managed from the center. It is in that vein that we commence the process of decentralization through the deployment of staff to the 5 regions. The next phase is the capacitation of the teams in the regions so that the citizens are able to receive adequate services from the districts. It is on this basis that the 2024 budget and the capital development plan will provide for the recapitalization drive so that all districts have plant and equipment which are critical in service delivery. Financial health of the city. While our problems are huge, most of them have easy solutions. Revenue generation and optimum collection are the solutions. Service delivery is the byproduct of financial performance. To date, we have collected 485 billion ZW or RTGS against a potential of 1 trillion RTGS. The variance is huge. It shows that we are not able to efficiently collect what we are billing. Our creditors stand at 9 billion RTGS, largely driven by electricity costs and water treatment chemicals. Our debtors are at 686 billion, and the list is as follows. Domestic consumers are the biggest debtors, followed by industry, commerce, and then government. We continue to have challenges in terms of the financial health of the city because the residents are not honoring their obligations. Government is not paying. Industry and commerce are also not paying. We need to understand and appreciate that service delivery is a byproduct of financial performance, and such, if the city is not performing well in terms of finance, service delivery suffers immensely. Our major focus area for 2024 in the financial service sectors are the following: to clear the financial audit backlog of 3 years. The implementation of the new ERP. We have operated for almost 4 years without a robust ERP, and this has affected our operations and financial reporting. I'm made to understand that the tender process has been completed on our part in terms of the technical report, and that as soon as it comes from PRAS, hopefully they won't delay, we will be having an ERP which will make it easier for residents to understand the bill and to interact with the city on a financial basis, and will ensure that our audits will be done timeously without delay. And I'm made to understand by our financial people that a robust ERP will increase the performance of our income by 30% if implemented correctly. Asset revaluation is another focus area for the city. We want to ensure that our financial statements accurately reflect the true value of our assets, liabilities, which should improve our ability to secure financing and attract investment. We have been trying to fund the city using a cash basis. It is not possible. We need to create a capacity to do municipal bonds, to do infrastructural bonds, and to be able to have a complex financial system. We cannot fund a city or try to develop a city using subsistence funding, hand to mouth, as it were. We need to be able to adopt financial complex instruments that are common for cities of this size. We cannot fund it on a cash basis and hope to develop the city. Implementation of robust revenue collection and debt collection strategies is another key focus area to improve cash flow and manage debt. We will be following up the monies that we are owed. We are the only institution in the country that is still operating on a provision of service first and people pay later. All other institutions, parastatals, including roads, have adopted a system where you pay first before you use. So you pay a toll gate before you get onto the road. You pay for electricity before it is given to you. You pay for phone before you use the airtime. You pay to get into a hospital. It is only the city council that is required to give a service and then you pay later. We are going to rectify that through a robust debt collection service, and we are going to go to prepaid in terms of other services that include water and so forth, so that we can be up to speed with inflation and other services. IPSAS implementation is another key focus area. This will ensure greater transparency, accountability, and optimal utilization of public funds, which are essential for providing public services and attracting investment. And there is a deadline for us to adopt this coming from government for us to be in line with the requirements of accountability that are required through government. 2024 budget. The 2024 budget paid attention to the issues raised by stakeholders through consultative processes. Key among the issues raised were the provision of water and sanitation, infrastructure development, social service delivery, public safety and security, protection of the environment, and fairness in tariffs charged by the city of Harare. Through the 2024 budget, we will create a city that has full functionality across service delivery facets, building our way to a smart city. Functionality means that potable water must be available to the residents of Harare. We ended the year with the average water production hovering around 328 megaliters per day, largely due to the raw water quality in our dams and the decommissioning of Prince Edward Waterworks. Secondly, during the last quarter of the year, we were badly affected by power outages. The cost of water treatment chemicals continued to soar, and we remained indebted to our suppliers who scaled down on deliveries because of the ballooning debt. The average water supply coverage was 53.8%. This was predominantly a result of the reduced water production at the treatment plant and power load shedding in the distribution network. In order to address the water supply gaps, we have in the budget, 2024 budget, allocated $216 million to undertake key projects which are meant to turn around service provision in the wash sector. The project include major rehabilitation works at the water treatment plants and the distribution network. Another signature project in the water sector is the completion and commissioning of the chlorine dioxide project, which will reduce the number of water treatment chemicals, refurbishment at Morton Jeffrey through rehabilitation of 14 filters and replacement of 3 pumps will improve water production and pumping to 450 megaliters per day from the current average of 280 megaliters per day once complete. Furthermore, the intervention in the distribution network through pipe replacement and installation of 2,000 commercial and 40,000 domestic prepaid water meters, as well as the replacement of 40,000 conventional water meters. This will result in the reduction of non-revenue water by 2% from 60% to 58%. These metering interventions are expected to improve revenue collection efficiency to 60% from the current 40% attributed to the targeted consumers. We are hopeful that in 2024 we will reach the 450 megaliters of water production per day in the first quarter. Although this is not adequate to supply the citizens of Harare, it will at least improve on the coverage aspect, which has remained limited. I think for the whole of Harare, we require over 1,200 megaliters per day. And this will require us to fully utilize the current dam capacity, but also to encourage government to finish the Kunji Dam, start the Msani Dam, and also implement the Mchekaramwa pipeline project. We cannot continue to use water sources that were last built in 1976. We have water in the Eastern Highlands that is flowing freely to Mozambique without being utilized and causing floods there. We need to divert that water so that it can be used by the greater Harare area. To put it into perspective, Hippo Valley Estates carries water from Lake Mutirikwi, which is 500 kilometers away from the water. Marondera and these other dams are a mere 100 kilometers away, and we should be able to get water to Chitungwiza and the eastern suburbs, Rua, Epworth, and so forth. And it is cleaner water which will use less chemicals to treat. Further, in the 2024 financial year, we shall focus on the further rehabilitation of sewage treatment plants to further reduce pollution of our streams which feed into Lake Chivero, rehabilitation of collapsed trunk and subsidiary sewers to arrest pollution of the environment, especially in residential areas, completion of the chlorine dioxide project to make our water treatment works more efficient and increase output, rehabilitation of filters, clarifiers at Morton Jeffrey and Prince Edward water treatment works to increase our water production capacity, rehabilitation of our pump stations, both at the water treatment works at Morton Jeffrey and in the distribution network, especially the Letombo pump station. This will guarantee reliability of our pumping of water to the residents and hopefully increase our water supply coverage. Rehabilitation and upgrading of the Dowendale intake works to guarantee the abstraction of quality raw water from Dowendale Dam. Replacement of water meters to reduce commercial loss of non-revenue water, which is too high. Replacement of pipes in various sections of the water distribution network to reduce physical losses of non-revenue water. Completion of the upgrading of our quality assurance laboratory to ensure quality of our potable water and sewage affluent. Honorable Councillors, functional service delivery means that waste is managed effectively. This has been a key challenge in our operations, and we hope that the allocation towards recapitalization of this sector will improve operations. The following are key in the implementation of the integrated solid waste management plan. Procurement of 5 skip trucks and 100 skip bins. Procurement of 15 refuse compactors. Procurement of 52 tractors and trailers. On this one, we await the release of the borrowing power certificate by the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment or Promotion. The tractors, I think we've been singing about them. They are tractors that came from Belarus. They are seated in a farm there as if they will be able to give birth. Tractors do not give birth. We need to use the tractors to carry waste. And we've been asking for these tractors for the past 1 year. I don't know why they have not arrived at the city. We need to put trailers so that we can collect the refuse from the ward. 52 trucks will mean that we'll have a tractor at every ward, and we'll be able to collect and deal with some of the smaller dumps. And the tractors are there. It was one Chinese premier who said he didn't care about the color of the cat as long as it catches mice. We don't care where the tractors came from as long as they can move and carry our waste. I think we need to utilize them rather than to keep them there. And we are waiting for the Minister of Finance to sign a paper which will allow us to get the tractors. I don't know why we have to sign papers to get tractors that are there, but I'm told that is what the law requires. So people must just sign. If it were up to me, I would have gotten 50 truck drivers. They would have driven out with the tractors so that we can carry the rubbish from the suburbs, because the rubbish has become a state of emergency. And it was so declared by a statutory instrument. And that I thought the declaration that it was a state of emergency would mean that we dispense of other formalities for us to be able to carry the rubbish. Construction of 6 material recovery centers for solid waste and construction of 6 solid waste transfer stations. We believe the recapitalization of operations in the waste management sector is critical because the areas requires plant and equipment. We, however, implore residents to also effectively manage waste at source and avoid littering the environment. Functionality means that there are no outbreaks of water and sanitation-related diseases like cholera and typhoid. In 2023, we have had repeated episodes of cholera outbreaks, and these can be addressed by solving the water and sanitation challenges facing the city. We recorded 263 confirmed cases and 28 deaths. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. By prioritizing the water and wastewater and solid waste management areas, we hope to stop the continued outbreak of these primitive diseases. Functionality also means that the primary healthcare system works. This will be achieved through the upgrading and expansion of our clinics and construction of new ones in unserviced areas. The city will launch and implement a community-based health insurance system, CBHI, in 2024. The target area for pilot implementation is the Southern District, which covers Mbare, Hartfield, Braeside, Arcadia, Waterfalls, and Southern incorporated areas. Community-based health insurance attempts to ensure universal health coverage in Harare. More than 90% of Harare residents are not insured for health. CBHI provides affordable health insurance that is owned and managed by the community. We cannot continue as a society and as a city without health insurance. It is inefficient and creates challenges where we try to treat people. Results-based financing, RBF, will continue to be implemented in all clinics to ensure that every pregnant woman in Harare has equal access to standard maternal health care. This program covers poor pregnant mothers who ordinarily may not afford to pay the $25 maternity fees at our council clinics. So people are encouraged to come to our clinics. There is a program, should they meet the required test, to be able to ensure that pregnant mothers do not bear children in unsafe places. We have coverage, we have a program that will allow them to be assisted without paying the $25 should they not be able to afford it. The cover package provides antenatal care, ANC, delivery and postnatal care, PNC, at all council clinics. The city will be constructing an enhanced polyclinic in Marlborough to correct a long-standing disparity that all the 12 polyclinics in Harare are located only in the high-density suburb. The clinic will come with both private and public rooms to accommodate the needs of some residents who may need private services from our institutions. However, the public rooms will ensure affordable service provision to the general public. Turning to amenities development, in 2024, we intend to improve socio-economic development through refurbishment of social amenities. The city seeks to embark on refurbishing of its halls and stadia to acceptable standards. We plan to complete the construction of markets across city wards specific to community centers. The city will renovate those for use by youth for different activities as part of the broader measures to fight against drugs and substance. Protecting the environment through the implementation of the local environmental action plan. The city is also continuing renewable energy programs through the installation of solar system in all the 26 district offices. We also intend to implement a 3-megawatt solar plant at Potter Farm. This is meant to power some of our installations which consume a lot of energy. Cobra has a capacity of 100 megawatts. We are looking for potential partners who can implement the project in incremental stages from 5 megawatts to 10 megawatts. There is a lot of roof and space to do solar. What pains us with this solar energy situation is that we built a power station, a thermal power station for Harare. That thermal power station is being underutilized by ZESA. At times it produces 0 megawatts and the maximum it is produced is 15 megawatts. They are now saying they want to lease that thermal power station. We are asking that ZESA returns the thermal power stations to the city of Harare, or it pays us compensation. They took the power station without paying us compensation. We have tried to get compensation, and the irony is that the very same day that they took the power station, the next day they sent us a bill for electricity. So someone takes your cows, the next day you want milk, they ask you to buy the milk. It is an anomaly that needs to be corrected. We need our power station back. If they are not able to give us our power station, they need to compensate us so that we can invest in renewable energy. We can invest in solar farms so that we can produce energy as a city again. I'm made to understand that electricity was number 3 energy was the number 3 revenue earner for the city when we were billing residents for electricity from our power station that we had built. So we are going to build again power stations, but this time we are building them as solar power stations so that we can deal with the energy needs of the citizens of Harare. But we are going to pursue the return of our power station because the land is still ours. They have buildings that they took without power stations in Wayne Street. That is our building. The building opposite Jameson is the City of Harare building. They pay no rentals. They paid no compensation. We are going to be retrieving those buildings so that we can give the residents what belongs to the residents, and we can provide energy and electricity to the residents once again. Another problem area, which functionality means that our road networks are trafficable and free of pothole. As a city, we have an estimated 5,000 kilometers of road network that we must maintain and rehabilitate. 87% of our road network is in need of rehabilitation. The city desires to rehabilitate 250 kilometers of road network annually for the next 5 years at an estimated annual cost of $250 million. Furthermore, the city must carry out routine maintenance of 1,200 kilometers annually at an estimated cost of $60 million. For the year 2024, the city targets to rehabilitate 60 kilometers of roads and carry out 500 kilometers of routine maintenance with funding from Zinara. Yes. Now, we have received only 11 billion RTGS from Zinara. Yes, in 2023, disbursements were made timelessly, but our argument remains that the formula of disbursement must be relooked because the model is not working. Now, this amount only for this year amounts to $2 million. That is the total amount we've gotten from Zinara. Last year, in 2022, we again got only $2 million. We have told them that there are 800,000 cars in Harare. Each car pays $20 per quarter. Harare motorists pay $64 million annually to Zinara, and we get $2 million. There is fuel levy. The bulk of the fuel is used in Harare by Harare motorists. We are getting zero from the fuel levy. I hasten to add that the fuel levy is paid in US dollars. And as I have just indicated, Zinara has only given us Zim dollars, right? It is not giving us the US dollars. Yet they are getting fuel levy in US dollars. Everyone here pays for fuel in US dollars. We are not getting that money. They also get carbon tax. We are not getting anything from the carbon tax. We need the carbon tax so that we put equipment to measure pollution, chase up the polluters. Excuse me. Chase up the polluters. Someone forgot to put water. Chase up the pollution and so forth. We are not getting that carbon tax. So we are getting a pittance out of a potential $100 million annually from Zinara. We are only getting $2 million annually to do the roads of Harare. Yet it is the motorists of Harare that are funding Zinara. Where is the money going is our question. The money must come to the motorists of Harare. And therefore, we are going to pursue. If it means going to court, the last time when I made noise, they then asked for a meeting and they said we're going to meet all the mayors so that we can change the formula. That has not happened. We require that happens as a matter of urgency because we no longer have roads, and part of the drainage works that we are suffering should be done by the money that comes from Zinara Ezitwe. So it is a key issue that we are going to be meeting with them. We'll ask our parliamentarians to raise, and we'll also ask the court to have a look at it should all else fail. Functionality also means emergency services must be able to respond to emergencies within the acceptable response times. The Emergency Service Division is one of the best performing entities of Council despite the capacity issues. We intend to ship 4 more fire tenders and 10 ambulances to boost the capacity to respond to emergencies. We also intend to procure 10 ambulances to improve the existing fleet, which is becoming overwhelmed by the increasing demand from residents. People must note that we also take care of emergencies within a 150-kilometer radius of the city of Harare. We respond to issues in Bindura, Chivu, the highway, and any other cities that is close to the environs of Harare. City planning and housing delivery. Urban regeneration. The city managed to review 5 local development plans to attract investment and promote development. The reviewed local development plans are Showgrounds, LDP, Malborain Local Development Plan, Waterfalls, Hartfield Local Development Plan, Southern Incorporated Areas Local Development Plan number 3. Council also approved a number of development permits for cluster houses, as the city of Harare is currently promoting a new housing development model which promotes densification. The city is also promoting mixed land use, which is a major urban development transformation. Going into 2024, we are determined to enhance structurally our planning division so that we can empower them to effectively deal with all planning issues and focus more on research and development. Forward planning and development of the Harare Master Plan, which we target to complete in 2024. Housing delivery remains a challenge in the city. We continue to experience coordinated land invasions throughout the city. The city identified all illegal settlements which meet town planning standards for regularization. However, we are going to be reviewing this regularization project. We cannot regularize illegalities. I think there is a habit that people are now invading pieces of land in the hope that it will be regularized. We are going to ask the full council to review this regularization policy and discontinue the process of approving illegalities. We must begin from a legal standpoint and avoid the situation where we reward a wild west behavior, where people ride on mechanized horses and use all sorts of weapons to invade pieces of land and then hope that the city council will then regularize later. Some of the pieces of land is where the cholera epidemics are coming from, where people are drowning, where structures are being built in a haphazard manner. So we will ask council to relook into this exercise and so that we can allocate houses and stands in a proper manner. The city managed to allocate a total of 1,300 stands and regularize a total of 7,706 housing units out of a targeted 16,000 mapped units. But this is a policy that we need to seriously look at because it can only encourage wayward behavior. We have also managed to process the issuance of 1,015 title deeds. We will continue to educate our residents and the residents of Harare of the importance of having title deeds for their properties. Education and social services provision. Our current primary education coverage is at 24.9%. We will continue to work with the development partners and our key stakeholders and establish additional learning centers and modernizing the existing ones so that we increase our enrollment capacity. Social services. I acknowledge that our social services centers like council halls for women and youth empowerment projects, recreational parks, and all our social amenities are in a bad state. We will strive to facelift these centers so that they serve the purpose they were established for. We will start programmed maintenance for all our halls, swimming pools, recreational facilities, and play centers. I am aware of the wellness challenges affecting our people who are now abusing drugs. My council will work closely with local leadership, wellness champions, non-governmental organizations, and central government in addressing drug abuse challenges that are threatening the lives of our young people. We have since established a rehabilitation center at Mbare Netball Complex, and we are calling our partners to assist in equipping the center. Small to medium enterprises. We are alive to the fact that the economy is highly informal. The central business districts, centers, open spaces, and roads in Mbare are now taken over by informal business traders. My council launched an SME policy which we developed with assistance from all key stakeholders. The purpose of this policy is to mainly bring order and sanity in the small to medium business enterprise. We have started the process of registering all SMEs, informal traders in Harare, and once the exercise is complete, Council will provide specific trading centers for these traders as well as regulate their operations so that there is order in Harare. We target to renovate markets and to provide funding to some of these traders. We also hope that those that are operating at night in the city will also adopt hygiene standards that are improved. Most of the problems we are facing in waste management and drainage cleanage are produced by the waste that is being produced at night by the night traders. So we will need to sit down with them and come up with a workable solution to night trading and night business in the city center. Stadia refurbishment. Our signature project is Rufaro Stadium. The city of Harare successfully completed phase 1 of the Rufaro project, the home of football. The phase entailed refurbishment and redesigning of the stadium in line with best practices and standards as per FIFA guidelines. A modern secure park-up was constructed as well as a B arena. The whole drainage from Rufaro Stadium was redeveloped, new lawn irrigation system installed, extension of changing rooms, construction of perimeter walls, and rehabilitation of ablution facilities was done to satisfaction. We are planning to officially commission the first phase of the renovation works. Rufaro Stadium will be ready for use in the 2024 football season. We intend to rehabilitate sporting facilities so that our young people have access to social amenities. This will help us in the fight against drug substance abuse in our communities. In this spirit, we intend to rehabilitate Kwanzura Stadium, Zarasekwa Stadium, Mavuku Tafara Stadium. These will also be able to host Premier Soccer League matches. Zarasekwa will be ring-fenced for Northern Region ZIFA games as per their request. But however, these stadia will have the same standards and will be used for international football. We call upon the private sector, corporates, and other interested parties to come so that we can explore opportunities to work together in these areas. Our project, we also plan to commission a Chitubu clinic. We also have projects which we want to start in 2024. These include the renovation of Carter House into a state-of-the-art enhanced maternity clinic to cater for the population which utilizes our facilities, because people travel from all over the country to use Edith Doberman Clinic. So we are expanding the facilities there so that mothers who are expecting will be able to have more space, and will also put capacity to do cesarean operations at that facility. We are going to complete the administration block at the Mabuku Enhanced Polyclinic. We are going to remodel Glenview Area 8 home industry, which suffers from a lot of fires every year. We will remodel it so that that won't happen again. Honorable Councillors, as we conclude, accelerating service delivery means everyone finding ways to improve efficiency and effectiveness of public service delivery to meet stakeholders' expectations and needs, and also potential investors. In summary, our 2024 focus areas as supported by the budget are as follows: providing efficient municipal service to the communities, water provision, waste management, health and housing delivery, among others as per our mandate; making services accessible to the residents; enhancing transparency and accountability through the relevant governance structures; providing excellent in-person service delivery for residents when they access services at physical locations; understanding the customer and their needs through citizen engagement; offering multiple ways for stakeholders to provide feedback; adopting technology as a key enabler in improving service delivery through adopting modern payment methods and automation of our processes. Litter-free CBD. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier on I spoke about transforming the way we do business in the city. One of the key areas which requires urgent intervention is the waste management sector. As one of the key initiatives to drive transformation in this area, later on today, we will be launching the implementation of the our project, which is an intensive refuse collection program in the CBD. The initiative will include refuse collection during the night, illegal dumps clearance, and skip bin emptying during the night. Once we manage to make the Central Business District a litter-free zone, this program will be rolled out in all the residential areas in Harare. We will also be talking to the major manufacturers of things that pollute and those that are in the fast-moving sector, beverages and food sectors, so that we can find ways of dealing with the beer they sell, the food they sell, and also the disposal of the things that store that food. Lastly, flooding in Harare. As we wrap up the year, we've been hit hard by flooding, particularly in low-lying areas and residential areas built on wetlands. Houses in low-lying areas like Budiriro Paddocks areas, Kowadzana Paddocks areas, and all other low-lying areas have been heavily affected. The Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Act allows us for emergency procurement in situations of urgency or emergency, where there is an immediate threat to public health, welfare, or safety. In view of the threat to human life due to flooding, the city intends to use the relevant sections of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Act to do emergency procurement for the following pieces of plant and equipment: backhoe loaders, jet vats, excavators, tipper truck, plant aid loaders, dewatering pumps, compressors. Where we might not have the time to purchase, we might consider hiring on an emergency basis so that we use this equipment to be able to clear the storm drains and also deal with other emergencies that arise out of the water. The above equipment is required for an intensive stormwater drain clearance program and removal of the spoil. Most of our stormwater drains are clogged with waste, and this causes flash floods during periods of incessant rains. I believe we can manage the capital city proficiently and efficiently, such that we create a sustainable city where residents do not complain about basic service delivery. As I conclude, allow me to commend the residents of Harare for their patience and tolerance during the times when service delivery was its lowest. Commendations also go to the executive, led by the town clerk, Engineer Chisango, the directors, managers, and all other employees of the city. I express my profound gratitude to the councillors of the city of Harare for allowing me to serve, to my principals from the parent party that I come from, which is Triple C, led by Nelson Chamisa. I salute you for the confidence you continue to bestow on me. Being the mayor of Harare is an honor, and I do not take it for granted. I wish you all a prosperous 2024 with accelerated service delivery. I thank you. Tatenda Siago.
Now we're talking so you identify yourself as this house. In fact, when the town clerk is also you bring your burning question to the town clerk. That's it.
Maybe the message was very clear.
Yeah. The speech was too good. So if there are no questions, okay, one question.
I'm Wellington.
Yes, Wellington.
Thank you, Mayor, for organizing this crisis. As I was listening to the people, you spoke about evacuation of people from those areas. And is there any strategy, particular plan that is in place to ensure that those people can be relocated to safe places that since some of them are in great necessity?
Oh yes, thank you. When we said that people must evacuate, we do have areas where they are to go. For those in Budiriro, they are going to Budiriro 3 Primary School. We are working with the Public Protection, Civil Protection Unit. The directors there, they've provided dry foodstuffs. We now have about 100 families in Budiriro 3, close to 100 families at Budiriro 3 Primary School. We are going to move them to a vocational center once we deal with the toilets because schools are going to open very soon. For those in Kuwadzana, it is also at Kuwadzana 2 primary school. There we have about 6 to 7 families that have gone there. We encourage families that are in those areas to go to these places. Should flooding occur in other areas, we'll work with the Civil Protection Unit to provide places for them to take people. They've provided transport and food. We as the council, we have provided the meat. The Civil Protection Unit did not have meat, so we thought since it was Christmas, we have farms where there's meat. People could eat a few meat to avoid them crying too much about the flooding. So they did. I'm told that a beast was slaughtered, but if they have finished it, we'll give them another beast to augment the food that is there. What we are going to do is that for those that were allocated land legally and it is within an area where you cannot construct, we are going to give them alternative land. For those that have gone and invaded areas illegally, that is what I was talking about, that we are becoming uneasy as a council with the process of regularization illegalities. We need to come up with a more robust plan, and we need to come up with the Ministry of Housing. We have a national housing crisis. It's not a Harare housing crisis. We have a national housing crisis as a country and as a city. We need to have a multi-stakeholders approach to deal with the question of housing in the cities. We need to look at the materials we use to building houses. We need to reduce the cost of building a house, rechange. Our scientists must come up with cheaper. We need to reduce the cost of building a house down to 5,000. That is a low-income house, so that we can build them on a massive scale. Our building standards look like we are building in an earthquake zone. I think we can build a decent accommodation using lesser standards, and so that people live in decent housing, unlike the situation that we are facing.
Thank you. Any other questions? So if there is no other questions, the town clerk will give his closing remarks. But also after this, before he speaks, Mr. Shumba, of course, I was surprised with it.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Your worship, you have done very well to present issues affecting the people. As Harare Resident Trust, our major concern is the absence of a functional billing system.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, the town clerk, we assume he is very competent, but who surrounds him in the top management, acting directors? Interviews were done for the finance director. It has not been filled up to now. We would want you to pursue that. Then the question of corruption. We are concerned that there is so much corruption in the procurement of services and goods. We hear that some of your officers inflate the cost like a menu. They inflate it and they pay cash or whatever. They quickly pay in those areas where they have interest. We would want you to stamp your feet, particularly on your management. We believe the council could do more if your management is pulling in one direction. And issues of substantive directors, please address that as a matter of urgency, because we cannot have a capital city operating with the acting directors, particularly the human capital director. We hear a lot of corruption allegations against the DC guy acting there. Why don't you rotate so that you save this seat? Because we hear that he is corrupting the whole system to the extent that when there is a funeral in his family, almost the entire council department address that as a matter of fact. It appears like a joke, but we saw it recently when all vehicles of this city drove to Madziwa. That was not proper. We believe that you are here to save the residents. The residents' interest must be the priority for the office of the mayor. You have our full support for as long as you continue on this message you have delivered today.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I hope when there's a funeral at your house, you won't punish us for all trooping. Because certainly if someone in your family passes away, you will find the whole council there because of your service to issues of council. So do not bar us from coming. But there's a good point. The issue of a billing system, like I said, an ERP is something that I've spoken ad nauseum over the past year. I'm happy that it is going to conclude. It has already cost one manager his job, and now that I'm back, it can easily cost other managers their jobs. So, because there is no way you can manage an institution, any institution, even your home, without knowing what income you are bringing in, and from who, from what, from where. And we cannot continue with a prehistoric billing system that needs someone to troop to an office to pay, when we are all paying for everything now on our phones. Internet, electricity, roads, everything we pay using our phones. So we are going to get to that level of efficient if it means getting rid of people one by one. That has to happen, and that has to happen in the first quarter of the year. We need an ERP that has been an albatross on our necks. It does not allow us to properly budget. We are down on our revenues. We cannot pay salaries. We cannot pay bonuses, and we cannot provide services for the residents. So that issue is my priority number one. It's this council's priority number one. We need that ERP as of yesterday, so that we can properly communicate financially to ourselves and to the residents and make billing quite easy. Issue of corruption, we are going in line with ZAC. We have held a number of meetings with ZAC. We have been a regular customer of ZAC as an institution. So we decided to visit them so that we can have a better relationship in terms of learning the rules. They've encouraged us to do integrity committees. Is it? What do they call it? And integrity committees and other measures that will assist us so that we do not become a regular customer in terms of going to the cells, and we become regular customers in terms of good conduct and good behavior. So we are going to do that. We are not going to rotate corruption. If corruption is there, we'll cut it out, because if we rotate it around the city, we do that. We then create a problem. If there are allegations, if there are issues, let's deal with them head on and get clarifications so that people don't accuse each other without evidence. But where there is evidence, we deal with it and nip it in the bud. If there is an issue in terms of that, people are in HR, if it caused an issue, the people in HR will maybe going forward, we will create a situation where people will have a policy as to who represents council when some of this nature happens, the size of the delegation, and the expenses that are allocated to it. I take your point. In retrospect, I don't think it was meant in bad taste, but it also may be a lesson to us. I know when I lost my mother, everyone came, and more came, and others who said controversial things also came. But people tend to come because they tend not to be invitation cards to funerals. But what then happens is that the key lesson from what you have said is that we, as a city, will have a protocol. So we will develop maybe a policy which then limits certain things, which then allows for us, which we will be brought to the residents. People look at it within reason. We then have a protocol for such kind of things, and then we avoid unnecessary waste or a belief that there has been an unnecessary waste or a belief that people seek to carry favors by attending, as it were, or carry anger by not attending. As in the converse. But we are all taking it in the good spirit that you have made the contribution to that. So I think that covers most of the issues that you have raised. The issue of corruption, the issue of procurement department. I said some very bad things about our procurement department in the paper, and they came and raised a query. I share my concern with our procurement. I actually share concern with PRAS. I think our procurement law allows for a lot of waste, and that if we don't deal with the procurement regulations and the procurement laws in this country, we are in a mess. But we will look into the department and make sure that whatever we buy is not inflated or does not come at an extraordinary cost. I experienced it with the contracts that were there for Rufaro. You know, the prices were huge, out of this world. To do a small thing, 300,000, 400,000, 1 million, 2 million, and things like that, and that is in US dollars. So it's something that we really need to look at in terms of how we procure things and get the best value for our residents' money. Thank you very much. Okay.
Tinotenda ichaizvo yeworship neripoti yenyu nemuono watichazoita 2024 nemakore ari kuuya. Your worship mumusha umu matiri kufamba hamusisina kumira zvakanaka nenyaya yemasiweji. Ndinoti kutaura kwese kwamaita nekuronga kwese tinozvinamatira tichiti dai zvabudirira taita haleluya. Hazvisi kuita tikafamba kana 4 malaidzi chaiyo yechi5 inenge ine sweji. Hamusi kuita. Tiri kutukwa, makanselas ari kutukwa mumisha umu achifamba achinzi muri kudya mari mukuba, muri kudya mari mahara, takakusarudzirai mahara nekuda kwekuti hakuna zviri kuoneka zviri kubudirira mumamisha umu. Marara chaiwo kana kuri kwangu zviri kumabvuku hameno kuti kwakapedzisira kutakurwa rini. Marara takatoita kuti Christmas zvayauya kutopisa mamwe tichidii, asi zviriko zvakazara. Ndiri kukumbirisawo zvangu mumahospitals mamuri kutaura pamabvuku clinic ukasvika kudai unochema ukatarisa cheya iri kugarwa nanesi. Tiri kuti Mwari dai aita sekuronga kwamaita kuti dai zvabudirira yakabvaruka cheya kushaya kuti chii chiri kuitika, tiri kurasika pai. Iye zvinositika nzou iri kunzi iri kudya mari, asi mari yacho kudhara ndaisimbodaro ndisati ndauya pano, asi mari yacho handisi kuiona. Handisi kuiona kuti iri kuidepi kana kuti iri kudyiwa nani, hameno kumusoro uko kukula. Asi hatisi kudya mari kana senti, mari yacho kuti yaite glasi pamwe tichatikuzira, hatisi kuona mari yacho. Saka ndiri kukumbirisa oyo worship.
Aiwa, ndo basa ramakapindira kuti tirigadzirise. Saka tagadzirisa framework yokuti tigadzirise. Ndo saka ndachemera matractor aya kuti titore marara, masuweji tizomagadzira. Isusu semakansela muchatora speech iyi. Matora speech iyi ndo matargets edu atinawo nebudget ratinawo. Tochiona kuti taimplementa zvatiri kuimplementa. Masuweji tichamadzingirira street by street kuti adzokere maanofanirwa wanga akadi arimo. Saka I think tinenge tapedza. Isusu makansela tine nguva yedu yatinowanika kumakomiti yekuti tivhunzane tichifurufusha vanotisevenzera ava kuti vasevenze nemazvo. Tinofara nekuona kwamaita mauya kukanzuro kuti hakuna mari. Nesuwo taitoshama muchiti tiri kudya mari nokuti hatisati taiona. Sutu idzi ndidzamai Mafume hadzisi dzekanzuro. So tichange takadaro, vanotonditengera, vari kutosheka kuti zvinofamba sei kuti unoenda kubasa vanonditengera sutu. But tese tikaisa musoro pamwe chete tichagadzirisa nyaya dzeservice delivery. Tichibva pano tatine program yokuti tinde ameno kana ichabudirira.
We have closing remarks from the
Oh, the town clerk.
Then after this, we'll have lunch. Then after that, my journalists will go to Kudiri, my floods. Journalists will accompany the mayor.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just acknowledge our residents for taking time to be with us, those that managed to come here and those that might be following us through other means. Your Worship, we want to thank you for laying a clear direction of where you want your council to go. And as employees of the council, I think we're taking a cue from what you have said. That will then shape our targets as we move forward. The issue of ERP, yes, it's critical, and I can only add to say that it needs to be meshed with proper skills. We will need to upskill the department. Procurement, yes, it's a major issue, even at national level. There was some discussion somewhere where I was, where people were trying to look at figures, why this thing could cost that much. But we want to assure our residents that for us it's important to have value for money. We are saying we want to generate revenue and to distribute that, to build that revenue in a way that the residents will get value for money. The mayor's speech was straightforward. What we want is service delivery. It's your water, it's your wastewater, it's your roads. I think those are the highlights of the issues that we'll be pursuing as we move forward. Our transformation, we're saying let's map a proper way forward together with our stakeholders, critically our residents. Let's agree to say this is where we want to go, and our duty will be to follow in that pathway that we will have agreed. The issue of decentralization is a major anchor to the strategy that we'll be looking at. I think we have done the deployments. The next thing is the capacitation, like you mentioned, Your Worship. So we'll be looking at those, and we hope together in 2024 we have a better year than what we have had. Otherwise, Honorable Councillors, I want to thank you also for being with us and moving together with us. With those remarks, let me wish all of you a prosperous new year as we get into 2024. Thank you.